I'm Dean Safola, and this is the Azure Academy. So, before we get into domain controllers, I wanted to quickly look at cleaning up resources. So, I want to click on our Linux VM here because we're not going to need that for quite a while. And I want to go through the delete process. So, it's really just click on the resource, click the delete button. I know it sounds simple, right? But there's something I want you to take note of. If we look at our main resource group, as our VM resource gets deleted, I want you to notice that the other components related to this VM do not get deleted automatically. So we have a public IP address, an NSG, a network card, a disk, and an availability set. They're still here. They don't get cleaned up when you hit delete of a VM. Now, why would this be? It's because they are separate resources. They're totally separate independent objects in Azure. So I can go through and delete each one of these resources individually, and we're going to. But I just wanted you to take note of the fact that when you do cleanup of any resources, they will not delete each other. Okay, you can't delete resources that are connected to each other as dependencies without any kind of scripting. So in the portal experience, you have to delete them by hand individually. Of course, you can create cleanup scripts and templates that would do these things for you, but we'll get into any of that stuff later in automation. So there are also some interdependencies that are created as resources are linked together, like with a VM. You have a network card, a disk, and in this case also an NSG and a public IP address. So those resources are going to be interconnected, and so sometimes you won't be able to delete a quote unquote sub resource of a VM until the VM itself is deleted and that object is no longer associated with it. So we're going to go through and delete the rest of these items, and that should only take us a couple seconds here. Okay, so we'll click our NSG and hit delete. And you can see as we go through and do our network card that we don't have to wait for each individual resource to finish before we move on to the next. And you watch our notifications in the top right. We've gone from 3, now we're at 4. So that's just going to track everything as we go. All right, so that just about does it. And you can see here that if you try to delete a resource that is still associated with something, you will get an error message. Okay, telling you it's just related to something, so you can't delete it. That's a little way to keep you safe. So we're going to move on now to talking about domain controllers. And to do that, we have to talk through connectivity.